Hello everybody and welcome to the ESWBL League. The matchup that you're about to see is between the Stealth Bombers, who have a record of 0-0, and the Crawdads, who have a record of 0-3. Before we begin, let's take a look at their rosters. For the Stealth Bombers, we have Captain Joe Cologne, Assistant Captain Jesse Clark, Tyler Miller, Will Cleland, Ariel Cologne, Tino Cologne, and Donovan Wirtz. For the Crawdads, we have Captain Eric Crawford, Brian Crawford, Mike Giesman, Michael Giesman, and Jackson Weber. Now, let's get right into the action. All right, leading off here against Brian Crawford is Jesse Clark, as the first pitch he watches is a ball. The next pitch we see to Jesse Clark is a ball as well, so that is ball 4, and that is going to be a man on first base. Now Tino Cologne up to the plate as he pops it up to the right side. Eric Crawford getting to it, and it drops, but the ball just barely hits Jesse on the foot there for the first out of the inning. Joe Cologne now up to the plate as he swings and misses for the second out of the inning. Now Jesse Clark back up to the plate as he's going to watch ball 4, and we're going to have a man on first and second. And now Tino Cologne up to the plate, and he watches ball 4, and now the bases are going to be loaded with Joe Cologne up to the plate. Joe, ground ball, and it just goes fair as he's going to get tagged out for the third out. The Crawdads able to avoid any damage as we are going to be going into the bottom of the first with a 0-0 tie here in Game 1. Now Jesse Clark on the mound against Brian Crawford. He gets him the swing and miss for the first out of the bottom of the first. Eric Crawford up to the plate now, and he watches ball 4. We did hear a ting, but it bounced before a ting. Now we have a man on first with Michael Giesman up, and he's going to swing and miss for the second out of the inning. Now Brian Crawford back up to the plate here with a man on first as he swings and misses, and that's the third out of the inning. Now we're going to be heading into the top of the second. We are all tied at 0. As now Jesse Clark's going to lead it off here as he watches ball 4. And he's going to gain first base. That's 3 straight walks for Jesse Clark. As now Tino Cologne hitting it back to Brian. Brian not going to have a play as he just throws it back to Michael. But no one out there. As now Joe Cologne swinging and missing for the first out of the inning. So now we still have a man on first and second with Jesse Clark up to the plate. And he watches strike 3 as he was trying to get another walk there. As now Tino Cologne up to the plate and he watches ball 4. And now the bases are loaded. Joe Cologne up to the plate as he watches ball 4, and that's going to walk home a run as now the score is 1-0. The Stealth Bombers ahead now. As Jesse Clark up to the plate as he swings and misses on a high pitch, and that's the third out of the inning, and now we're going to be heading into the bottom of the second. The score 1-0. Eric Crawford leading it off here as he's going to watch ball 4, and he's going to gain first base. Michael Giesman up to the plate now as he watches ball 4. Now we have a man on first and second. No outs here. Now Brian Crawford up to the plate as he watches ball 4. And now the bases are going to be loaded with Eric Crawford up to the plate. Eric, high drive, left field. Tino Cologne at the warning track, able to grab it for the first out of the inning. As now Michael Giesman here with the bases loaded as he's going to pop it up to the pitcher, Jesse. Jesse dropping it. The bases are loaded. He is going to get Brian there. And let's take a little instant replay action on that one as Jesse not able to grab the pop-up, but he does get Brian Crawford right there on the knee for the second out of the inning. And the bases are going to still be loaded as Brian Crawford up to the plate here as he hits a ground ball left side. That's a fair ball, and it kind of goes in the no man's land as they're going to score a run. Game tied 1-1 as Eric Crawford now up to the plate, pops it up, center field, and Tino Cologne able to grab it for the third out of the inning. We are going in the top of the third with a tie ball game here in Game 1 as the score is 1-1. Tino Cologne leading off here as he pops it up left side. Michael Giesman running, and he catches it off screen for the first out of the inning. Joe Cologne up to the plate now as he hits a ground ball left side, and he's going to leg that out for a single. Now we have a man on first with 1 out. Jesse Clark up to the plate, swings and misses for the second out of the inning. Now Tino Cologne up to the plate as he watches ball 4, and we have a man on first and second here with 2 outs. Joe Cologne up to the plate. Ground ball up the middle. Michael Giesman not going to have a play as he just gives it back to the pitcher as now the bases are loaded. Jesse Clark up to the plate as he checks swings. And it goes back to the pitcher, Eric, and Eric's just going to tag out Jesse for the third out of the inning. That is the end of the top of the third. We're going in the bottom of the third. The Crawdads need 1 run to win it here in Game 1 as Michael Giesman's going to lead it off, and he drives it! Right field! That was a bullet out of here! One swing of the bat is all it took in the bottom of the third for the Crawdads to walk it off. The final score being 2-1. As Crawdads take Game 1, as now we're going to be heading into Game number 2. Jesse Clark leading off against Brian Crawford as Jesse Clark hits an Oppo, and it's gone! An Oppo Taco home run for Jesse Clark as he just gets it over that left field wall, and he's rounding the bases here as now the score is quickly 1-0 here in Game number 2. Tino Cologne now up to the plate as he watches ball 4 as that hits him. And now, Joe Cologne up to the plate. Joe, line drive, up the middle. Eric Crawford doesn't have a play. And now we have a man on first and second here. 0 outs with Jesse Clark stepping to the plate. Jesse Clark, watch it. Strike number 3 for the first out of the top of the first. Man on first and second still is Tino Cologne up to the plate. And he watches ball 4 as now the bases are loaded. Joe Cologne up to the plate here with the bases loaded as he hits a ground ball back to the pitcher, gets past Brian, and it's just going to be a no man's land as now we have a score of 2-0. Bases still loaded here as Jesse Clark swinging and missing for the second out of the inning. The bases are still loaded with Tino Cologne now watching ball 4, and that's going to walk home a run. As now the score is 3-0, and Eric Crawford's going to come into relief here as he strikes out Joe Cologne to limit the damage as now we're heading into the bottom of the first. Joe Cologne on the mound against Brian Crawford, and he gets the strikeout as that's the first out of the bottom of the first. Eric Crawford now up to the plate as he watches ball 4 on a pitch way outside as now Michael Giesman up to the plate, and he watches ball 4, and we have a man on first and second. Brian Crawford up to the plate as he swings and misses for the second out of the inning. And now Eric Crawford up to the plate as he foul tips it into the zone for strike number 3. And that's the end of the bottom of the first. Now we're heading into the top of the second with the Stealth Bombers up 3-0. Eric Crawford still on the mound. Is Jesse able to hit a bullet up the middle for a single? As now we have a man on first base. Leadoff single is now Tino Cologne. Ground ball left side. Michael Giesman not going to have a play. As now we have a man on first and second. And Joe Cologne up to the plate now as he swings and misses. A ball going up in his head for the first out of the inning. Jesse Clark up to the plate as he drives it right field off of Brian Crawford's hand. Brian almost making a beautiful play there as 1 run's going to score and 2 runs are going to score. That he almost had it. But that's going to allow 2 runs to score as now the score's 5-0. Tino Cologne swing and missing here for the second out of the inning. Joe Cologne up to the plate as he swings and it hits his bicep. And they're going to say that that's strike 3 as he did go around as now we're in the bottom of the second. Michael Giesman leading off. High drive center field. Oh, off of Tino. Wow, that thing curved a ton. As now Michael's going to be safe at first. And now Brian Crawford swinging and missing on a nice pitch by Joe Cologne for the first out of the inning. Eric Crawford up to the plate. Ground ball. Left side. Tino not going to have a play. And we're going to have a man on first and second. Now Michael Giesman up to the plate. As he hits a ground ball right side. He's going to go ahead and leg this thing out. As Jesse's not going to have a play. And the bases are now loaded. Brian Crawford up to the plate. As he watches ball 4. The ball did bounce and hit the strike zone, but that was ball 4 as that walked home a run. And that's another walk as it hits Eric Crawford for ball 4. And now the score is 5-2. And now Michael Giesman up to the plate as he hits a ground ball right side. And 1 run's going to score and 2 runs are going to score as Eric Crawford's going to be aggressive. And Michael Giesman's going to end up at second. So now there should be a man on second and third. And now Brian Crawford up to the plate as he hits a ground ball right side. And with Michael advancing the third, a ghost runner did score there. A little bit of confusion, but that did score the 5th run of the inning. So that was that 5-run inning mercy rule as Jesse Clark leading it off against Eric Crawford at the top of the 3rd. And a great catch by Brian. Let's see an instant replay of that one as he goes in and he just, almost shoelace catches that ball and does a little tumble for the first out of the top of the 3rd. Good play. As now Tino Colon up to the plate and he swings and misses for the 2nd out of the inning. Joe Colon up to the plate as he hits a ground ball left side, and that's going to be a fair ball. As Joe, hard round, and he's going to be aggressive and end up at 2nd. Great base running as the score is tied at 5-5. Now Jesse watching ball 4 as now we're going to have a man on 1st and 2nd. Tino Colon up to the plate, and it hits his bat, and that's a fair ball, and the bases are now going to be loaded. Let's take an instant replay of that one as it jammed Tino, but it just barely hits his handle of his bat, and it causes the ball to go fair, and now the bases are going to be loaded. Joe Colon up to the plate, high drive, left center field, that ball's gone! A grand slam for Joe Colon as he's able to absolutely blow this one open as now the score is 9-5. A huge clutch hit by Joe as that gave them the lead. Now Jesse Clark up to the plate and he swings and misses for the final out of the top of the 3rd. We're heading to the bottom of the 3rd. The Crawdads need 4 the tie and 5 to win. As Eric Crawford's going to lead it off here against Joe Colon as he pops it up. And Joe's going to make the catch for the first out of the inning. Now Michael Giesman up to the plate, high drive right center field, that ball's gone. A solo shot to make the score 9-6, and there's a little quick instant replay of that one as that one got out of here quick. As now Brian Crawford up to the plate, ground ball left side, and he's going to leg that out for a single as now we have a man on 1st base with 1 out. Eric Crawford up to the plate as he pops it up, and Tino's going to make the catch for the 2nd out of the inning. Michael Giesman now up to the plate as he hits a ground ball right side, and Michael Giesman's going to leg it out as now we have a man on 1st and 2nd. Brian Crawford up to the plate, and he hits a ground ball left side. Tino tries to hit Michael, but Michael dives right underneath it. Let's take an instant replay look at that one as Tino goes for the shovel pass, and it just goes above Michael as he slides underneath it, and now the bases are loaded. Eric Crawford up to the plate, ground ball left side, and that's going to be a fair ball, and a run is going to score as now the score is 9-7. Now Michael Giesman watching ball 4, and that's going to walk home a run as now the score is 9-8, and Brian Crawford coming to the plate now with 2 outs in a super clutch situation. The pitch from Colon. And Brian watches strike 3. What a beautiful pitch by Joe Colon as it buckles Brian as we see him falling to the ground in disbelief as the Stealth Bombers win game number 2 by a score of 9-8. As now we're going to be heading into game number 3. Leading off here against Michael Giesman is Jesse Clark as he swings and misses for the first out of game number 3. Tino Colon now facing off against Michael as he swings and misses, back-to-back strikeouts. Nice pitch by Michael. Now Joe Colon up to the plate as he swings and misses, and Michael Giesman coming in here and striking out the side as now we're going to be heading into the bottom of the 1st. And now Brian Crawford leading off against Joe Colon as he watches strike 3 on another curveball. That's what he saw as the last out of last game, and he gets it again. As now Eric Crawford, ground ball left side, Tino whipping it over the first, and that was almost an out, but Jesse dropped it there at first as now we have a man on 1st base. Michael Giesman up to the plate, line drive right side, gets past Jesse as now we're going to have a man on 1st and 2nd here with 1 out. Now Brian Crawford up to the plate as he hits ground ball up the middle. Joe Colon smacking the bucket, and he throws it to 3rd, but not in time as the bases are now loaded. Eric Crawford up to the plate as he drives it Tino off his hands, and Tino's just going to tag out Brian on his way to third for the second out of the inning, but a run is going to score. Michael Giesman up to the plate as he drives it. Center field. That ball's out of here. As now the score is 4-0 with a 3-run shot by Michael. Now Brian Crawford up to the plate as he gets a ground ball back to the pitcher, Joe. Joe is just going to go ahead and hit Brian with the ball for the third out of the inning. As now we're going to be heading into the top of the second as the Crawdads are leading 4-0. Now Michael Giesman back on the mound as Jesse Clark ground ball up the middle, and Jesse's going to reach.
All right, Michael, never mind.
As now Tino's up to the plate with a man on first. Tino, pop up, center field, and Brian catches it for the first out of the top of the second. And now Joe Colon up to the plate as he swings. Eric Crawford not able to get to it in time, so we're just going to have a man on first and second. Jesse Clark up to the plate as he watches ball 4, and now the bases are going to be loaded. Tino Colon up to the plate with the bases loaded as he swings and misses for the second out of the inning. And now Joe Colon up to the plate here with the bases loaded as he swings and misses, and Michael able to prevent any damage as he's able to get out of it as the score is still 4-0 as we're heading into the bottom of the second. Eric Crawford leading it off, ground ball left side. Tino Colon whips it across, and they got Eric Crawford for the first out of the inning. Great play. It's now Michael Giesman up to the plate as he hits a ground ball back to the pitcher Joe, and Michael's gonna leg that one out as he's pretty quick. Now we have a man on first. Brian Crawford up to the plate now as he hits a ground ball back to the pitcher Joe. Joe throws it over the first, and Jesse not able to hang on to it, and Michael's going to advance to third as now we have a man on first and third. Eric Crawford up to the plate. High drive left field. That ball's gone. A 3-run home run for Eric Crawford as he's able to make the score 7-0. And now Michael Giesman up to the plate as he hits a ground ball back to the pitcher Joe, gets past Joe, and Tino's not going to have a play as we now have a man on first. Now Brian Crawford up to the plate as he hits it to center field, and that's going to get down, and Michael's going to round second on his way to third, and it looks like that's going to be a ground rule double. So we're going to have a man on second and third. No run did score there. As now Eric Crawford up to the plate as he pops it up left side. Tino catching it for the second out of the inning. Michael Giesman now up to the plate as he hits a ground ball, and that is going to be a fair ball in no man's land as a run's going to score. And it's not a force, and they need to tag Eric, and they didn't tag Eric as it was a man on second and third, and all they had to do was tag Eric, but they tagged the bag because they thought it was a force. So there's still 2 outs, and now line drive up the middle off of Joe, and Eric Crawford's going to score, and that is going to be our 5-run inning mercy rule, as now we're going to be heading into the top of the third with a score of 9-0. The Stealth Bombers need 9 runs to tie and 10 to take the lead, as now Jesse Clark leading it off here as he swings and misses on a nice pitch by Michael for the first out of the top of the third. Tino Colon up to the plate as he drives it left field. Eric Crawford catching it at the warning track for the second out of the inning. Joe Colon now up to the plate as he hits it, and it's going to get down, and there's no one covering first as Joe's going to reach safely. Now Jesse Clark up to the plate here with 2 outs, and he swings and misses, and that's the end of game number 3. The Crawdads win game number 3 9-0, as that is going to be the end of today's games. Thanks for tuning in, and we hope to see you around next time.